Look, I want to make this abundantly clear. I love Roman Reigns. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a legend. I think he's gonna go down as probably one of the greatest of his generation. But to call him the GOAT and put him in GOAT debates amongst the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, I believe is preposterous. And I love Roman Reigns, but people are calling this guy the GOAT. They're calling him the GOAT. Guys, you know, I'm gonna be honest about Roman Reigns now, and a lot of people, you're not gonna like it. But we have to be truthful about Roman Reigns and his career. We're not trying to disrespect him. When you say that Roman Reigns is overrated, that doesn't mean he's bad. The word overrated does not mean you're bad or you're garbage. All it means is you're rated over your real rating. Let me say that again. You are rated above your actual rating, over your actual rating. Roman Reigns, for the past 10 years, has been one of WWE's biggest stars. But let's be honest, one of the main reasons why he's been able to achieve that is because the company pushed him. 11 main events, 1,300 plus title run, where this guy, he didn't defend the championship for a long time. And I'm not saying that's what makes him overrated, but why did he deserve those reigns? Because let's be honest, before the bloodline situation, before he got Paul Heyman, bro, he was awful. This guy was coming in doing promos saying things like suffering succotash. He was terrible. This guy was a terrible promo. Roman Reigns, he would get the mic and I'd do this. I'd cringe because I'd be like, is this guy gonna mess up? Is this guy gonna fail? You know what I mean? Like, Roman Reigns has obviously improved in that department. But let's not pretend for half of your career you were awful, and for the other half of the career you were great. That don't mean you're the GOAT. Because we can't forget the first few years. We can't forget that in terms of the three in the Shield, let's be honest, he was the worst. He was the worst out of all of them. In ring, on the mic, charisma. He was a charisma vacuum, bro, when he first started. And obviously since then, he's been pushed and he's been pushed and he's been pushed. And let me say this, I give him credit. He finally worked out. But bro, if he was anybody else and he looked like anybody else and he didn't come from that family of Samoans, the Anoa'i family, guys, let's be honest, bro. He'd be Jinder Mahal, bro. Let's be honest. He'd be given Jinder Mahal booking. He wouldn't have won a championship because Vince McMahon would have been like, okay, we've given him a chance, he's failed. But because of where Roman comes from, because of Roman's look, they gave him opportunity over opportunity. The company said, this is our guy. And they pushed him to the moon. And eventually he made it work. But let's not pretend for the first few years he was failing and he was failing and he was failing and he was failing. And this is what I'm saying when I'm saying, like, compare him to the people he should be compared to. Roman Reigns is with Randy Orton, Batista. You could even say he's with Brock. He's with Punk. He's with Cody. Maybe a bit above Cody. But to put him in debates with Hogan, Flair, Stone Cold is ridiculous. Hulk Hogan had the machine, but let me tell you this. Hulk Hogan, once he had the machine, he never failed, bro. Never did he fail. He delivered and he delivered. At no point did Hulk Hogan ever lose waste resources? That's what Roman was doing. He was wasting resources. At no point was Hogan wasting the resources of the company. At no point was Ric Flair wasting the resources of WCW, of the WWE. Stone Cold, bro. Stone Cold came in as, well, who's this guy, bro? Long hair, funky gimmick. This guy comes out, cuts a promo of his life. The company decides, shit, let's push this guy. This guy becomes one of the GOATs. The Rock. The Rock failed with Rocky, with the Maivia character. I'll be honest. And they gave him another chance. And once he was given that chance, he succeeded. The difference between Rock and Roman is Roman was given chance after it was big dog, it was big yard, it was my yard, it was the guy he beat the Undertaker. This guy beat the Undertaker before being over in the company. The guy was given championship matches with Brock Lesnar and Triple H before he was over. That's Roman Reigns. And I know I'm being negative about Roman Reigns, and let me tell you, I love my tribal chief. I think I'm in the gimmicks. I love it. But let's not forget what we had before. What we had before was bad, and I think people are starting to forget. And then obviously, and this is not Roman Reigns' fault, but then you get Twitter and you get all these weirdo marks, who I believe they're sexually attracted to him. I don't actually believe they're fans of Roman Reigns. I just think they're sexually attracted to him, which is quite sad because I believe Twitter should be a space where we have a real debate. But most people, they're concerned with propagating and pushing their agendas, which is quite sad. But, in terms of what Conrad Thomas said, I believe Roman Reigns is overrated. That doesn't mean he's bad. That doesn't mean he's trash. It just means that he's a legend and we respect Roman for how he's been able to turn his career and become the main eventer he is today. But he does not deserve to be in conversations with Stone Cold and The Rock. And people will be like, oh, but no one was putting, Roman Reigns in these debates. Guys, all you need to do is one scroll on Twitter. All you need to do is watch the YouTube channels. Listen to the Instagram reels. There are guys who have been glazing Roman Reigns for a long time. And I just think it's sickening. It's sick. Because nobody is disrespecting Roman Reigns. But when you put a guy who is in conversations he doesn't deserve to be in, people are going to start asking questions. And then you're going to get things like Conrad Thomas coming out on podcasts with Eric Bischoff saying he's overrated. On podcasts with Jim Ross saying he's overrated. We need to be honest, guys. Some of you guys, you're not honest. You're lying. Please, let's be honest about Roman Reigns and his full career. Not just post-2021, not post-lockdown. When we talk about a career, we must say the whole package. Say the full story. Let's not omit things. Let's put the full picture in. Otherwise, we start getting into very dangerous debates.